Well. Are we going? I think we might be up and running. We should be up and running. I should be up and running. Well. Yep, we're going. We go. All right. Hello. Welcome to Kep'sChat. I am Kep. Follow me on X. It's about the only thing I post on. Otherwise, I do really dislike social media. Uh, so I am Kep. We like to chat. I like to chat about pretty much anything. I've grew up and just kind of made myself aware and studied pretty much a lot of different subjects. So I'm pretty well rounded and can carry a conversation with about damn near anybody. Um, that being said, I do focus a lot on politics. And has how it pertains to us here in the United States, for the most part. Now, granted, politics do. A lot of people say they hate politics. They never want to be in politics. I'm going to take this off for a while. I don't think I have anybody talking today. Uh, People just want to ignore politics, and I get it. I understand. I understand. I did for a long time, kind of. Uh, but when you start actually breaking it down, you realize that politics plays a part in every aspect of your freaking life. So um, that's where I'm at. Uh, I have different points of view. I am a constitutional conservative. I believe in the Constitution. I believe our Constitution is black and white. And I do believe that most of our Supreme Court justices have gotten the interpretation of the Constitution wrong. And therefore, many of our laws are unconstitutional. So, it, it's the only part where I think technology would actually help in with using AI is to be able to uh, plug in all the information, the laws and stuff. I mean, laws are black and white. We have reasonings for the laws that got put in. Sometimes, I mean, we do have some weird fucking laws. Like, I think Dubuque still has a law where you're supposed to have a hitching post and water in front of every hotel. Um, One of them, I think it was like Tennessee or something like that. You couldn't hunt whales from an airplane in Tennessee, something like that. That was kind of strange, but anyway, I like to laugh a lot. It's about all you can do if you really understand some of the severities of what's going on in the world. You gotta laugh. That's all you can do. But this is kind of funny because Memdani from New York was saying that he was going to arrest Netanyahu and blah 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 blah. Well, you can't. You could try, but everybody that would do it would probably end up getting fired. But like Fetterman said, dude, you're a mayor, dude. Fix a pothole, take trash out, sit down. And he's not even doing a good job of that. New York's turned into a worse shithole now as every day goes by. The rent's increasing because, oh, the rent's going to be frozen. The rent's going to be frozen. But, yeah. Sit down, shut up, and, run your town, run your city. That's all you need to worry about. Don't need to worry about what's going on in the world. We know the reason why you want to arrest him. I mean, you're pro-Palestinian, you're Muslim, so um, What all should we get into today? Oh my God, I've got a lot of different things. Oh wow. So Donald Trump came out, was last week, last Thursday, had the speech about the voter registration and voting fraud that's been going on, um, calling out different states for what's going on and everything. And now we're getting drops all over the place, and thankfully we've got Department of Justice that's trying to go through this. We're trying to get the Save America Act passed. Voter ID is critical to having a fair, a less fraudulent uh, election. And I will say every time I talk about the elections, anytime I talk about elections, and you want to talk about fraud, I'm not talking that there was just fraud in 2020 or the Great Steal there, where we had statistical anomaly of a freaking, thousand millions of votes in one favor and not the other. It's just terrible, terrible. But 2016, 2012, 2008, 2004, 2000, 96, 92, 88, 84, 80. All of the elections have had fraudulent outcomes. There's been so much fraud with elections. It's you would think it would get better. Obviously, it was real easy to do a lot of that forging and stuff at the beginning of our country. Now we've got digital footprints and everything else, and we could make it so that there is a less than 1% chance of fraud happening. But we have so much fight back that's saying that that's unfair to make the elections fairer, to eliminate the possibility of cheating happening. It's happened on both sides. It seems to have always favored the Democrats, especially these mail-in ballots that rightfully so should be outlawed, except for your absentee ballots where you are in the military or you're going to be out of the country for a job. And that I would say a lot of people, if you find it important enough to do your civic duty and vote, that you would schedule everything around that day, knowing full well you are committed that day to perform a civic duty given to you by our great Constitution that is backed by God's will. That is entirely up to you. But giving people the chance to vote for up to a month before the election, and even then you've got laws where the post date and stuff like that doesn't even have to appear. California, I think, is still counting ballots. It has gotten worse in that state since I was going through Grok with this 1980 elections. They had it certified in 30 days. They can't certify the election for 30 days, but everything was counted and done way before the 30 days. Now we can't even certify the elections. I know they didn't in 2024. They didn't certify the elections till after people were supposed to be in place and in position of their elected position. But here we're finding more in Michigan. Macomb County They exposed series more stuff. 1,062 non-citizens found in a jury pool list. Now, if I commit a crime and I get a jury trial, it's supposed to be of my peers. My peers are citizens of this United States. If you're not a citizen, you have legal status in Mexico or China or Timbuktu. I don't care. You are not my equal in this body of law. You are not equal. You are not my citizen. You are not equal. Yes, God created all men equal. But in the terms of having secure borders and having citizenry, you wouldn't want to have a trial in front of all of the evil people and for something good. It just doesn't make sense. But anyway, you got 40 of them are registered to vote in one county, and this. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is from 2025 through the core of these 2 quarters. We're finding on. But it's not happening. Remember, it's not happening. These are software glitches. The New Jersey governor, Mickey Sherrill, whatever her name is, Mickey. She said, oh, well, yeah, we had a whole bunch in our thing, but, there was fewer than 400 of them that actually cast a ballot. Well, 400 can, one way or the other, can swing elections. And that you're just estimating that number. That's out of 6,060 non-citizens that were on the voter roll. But she wants to blame this error these citizens got on there through the Department of Motor Vehicles. And so they blame a software glitch that allowed them to register to vote, to register to vote. Well, the company's, they're a French company that's been working with them for more than 40 years for their Motor Vehicle Commission, the MVC. No, they had no software glitch. Individuals answered no when asked on the MVC keypad whether they're U.S. citizens, she said, and through no fault of their own, the system registered them. Anyway, that's what Sherrill is saying. It's unacceptable that the vendor released software with such a glaring error. It's unacceptable MVC took a year to get this issue fixed. No one in the previous administration brought this to light or took accountability to the action that happened years ago. Which, okay, your last governor was a Democrat too, Phil Murphy. But the software function is limited to transmitting data from the motor vehicle to the Division of Elections, which I don't know why you need to have a person in between, but the voter information is, once they've said no on that thing, it's supposed to go to the Department of State to verify if they're a citizen or not. So this ultimately comes back to the Department of State and the Division of Elections. They're ultimately responsible for verifying if they're eligible to vote. And if they're not, please send them a letter or something. But again, my biggest question, again, is why are we giving illegals driver's licenses? Why are we giving H-1Bs driving visa holders? I don't understand that. I mean, I get it. You need to get from point A to point B, but if you're illegal, you should not have a driver's license. Plain and simple. If you're here seeking asylum or whatnot, you don't get a license until you've gone through the system. And we expect you to assimilate. That would be the biggest thing, is to assimilate. But these these states are allowing illegals to get driver's license. Hell, California, New York, shit, we're giving driver's licenses to people that can't, CDLs to people that can't even speak English. But the feds are getting involved. Trump announced last week DHS identified close to 250,000 potential non-citizens illegally registered to vote in just 4 states. Our voter roll is pretty good. We had a few. I think we ended up with like 100 that might have been thrown out, but we're very good with it. But 250,000, if they were allowed to vote, which if you have no voter ID, what's to say those 250,000 people, that's 4 states. So let's divide that up by 4. That's 55, 60,000, 65,000 votes in each state. That would have been enough to swing Arizona. That would have been enough to swing Pennsylvania. That was enough to swing Georgia in 2020. But we've got the Civil Rights Division getting in on this, trying to make heads and tails of this. But I think the federal government has a right to get involved in this. Congress does need to make elections a little bit more clear. We should have something that is uniform across all 50 states that is used. I don't think any of them should be electronic at all. I mean, we need more volunteers to get involved to help count. If we could get a few more volunteers here and there, that could make a big difference too. But you look at other countries where they have elections. I think it was South Korea or Thailand. Um, you could walk through the room where they were counting ballots. So they're very, very transparent on it. And our elections are far from being transparent under the guise that your vote is your own and nobody should know your vote. And that's just a guise that the left has used to hijack the elections and to make it easier to cheat. I mean, we came up with a freaking virus to allow mass mail-in ballots in 2020. So, um, but you see these policies. The policies that are in place are tragic. You see mass exodus coming out of New York, mass exodus out of uh, California leaving. The Bears are leaving Illinois for tax reasons. And they're going to be just right across the border. It's like a 15-mile trip from Soldier Field to where the new field's going to be. It's a stone's throw over the border into Indiana. Will they still be named Chicago Bears? I would probably think they would be. But here's another example. True Value, they're a big, huge hardware giant. They were bought by. I thought they were bought by a different company. Anyway, they're moving to Indiana just because of tax reasons. Come on. What happens when you don't shut your computer down for not responding? So anyway, uh, I mean everything's fucking down. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. Everything is down. Oh shit. Except for Minecraft. Okay, I think we're going again. Are we still connected? Who can say da 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 da. Okay, we're back. Um, they're pointing to energy policy as a major concern for the businesses. The Climate Equitable Jobs Act sets a goal of Illinois transition to carbon-free electricity. In 19 years, they want to shut down all the coal-fired, gas-fired plants. That's great. But it's just costing way too much money to stay in business in these blue states. They want to tax the rich, tax the rich. Well, that's great, but the rich also create jobs. And if you tax them out of business, you're not going to have jobs. Anybody ever wonder if a butterfly ever wanted a tattoo? Women get all these butterfly tattoos, but and a lot of them are bigger girls. And here it is. That would fit into nature just perfectly, wouldn't it? You would think. Oh shit. Um, got some funnies to go through for here. Just oh shit. What was this? Um, I don't have Facebook. I ran across this on X, and I figured I would check to make sure it was real before I talked about it. I'm not even sure where they're out of, but it's Facebook. I can't log in. But this I thought was hilarious. Um, I guess one of the first. Fuck it, weed's legal in Savannah now. We bought stock in Pop Tarts. Um, this is the sheriff's office. This is freaking funny. Turns out the devil's lettuce actually comes from Taco Bell and not from a dispensary. Hmm. Yes. Um, which then somebody had to ask, we get a lot of messages asking who runs this page. We'd say your mom, but that fat hoe hasn't run for anything except the ice cream truck since 1998. Some police department's got fucking jokes. It's fucking hilarious. I love it. I love it. That's great. Um, Football news. This Diego Pava, who was playing for Vanderbilt, went up against Iowa in the bowl game and just got decimated by us. He was out there running his mouth for the Heisman Trophy and ended up coming in second. And dude sucks. I mean, he had a cushy year at Vanderbilt. We made them look like fools. They got to him. They put him on his ass more times. So, but he has just been. He was drafted to the Ravens, and training camp hasn't even started yet, and they cut him already. So now he's a free agent. Yeah, Canadian Football League. That's going to be your next. That'll be your next bet. Oh shit. Oh yeah. Pep Boys got bought out by Mavis Tire. Um, the biggest thing to take away from this is I'm a mechanic, been a mechanic, um, and I hate it. And we got a growing shortage of mechanics, and I already know that. I've seen that in the field, um, and there's reasons for it. Um, Young workers don't want to get their hands as dirty anymore, and for the most part, working on cars has become you got to have a computer degree, and I swear that even the computer people will have no idea how everything's communicating with each other. Um, it's not uncommon in a 2025, 2027s that are coming out right now, to have 50 different computers on board. And that's not an EV. An EV will have even more computers. And they're all communicating with each other. There is miles of wires in vehicles now. And it can become a nightmare trying to figure out what's going on with it. And customers, they hate taking their car to the shops. And I get it. They don't want to spend money on it. I mean, shit, look at some of these brand new trucks. $100,000 truck. You're outside of the warranty. Now something goes wrong. You're automatically looking at a couple of $1,000s for anything anymore. Besides just general maintenance. And that attitude then of not wanting to fix your vehicle and thinking that everybody out there, every mechanic out there is trying to scam you. We've got the internet that now everybody thinks that they are an internet mechanic. I watched a YouTube video. That's not how it's done. Or they said I should do this and that when you're dealing with a little bit different model, a little bit different metal, different engine, and customers don't understand, and yet you were always wrong. People always have hated mechanics, hated the mechanic, and it's come to a head. We've gotten so far advanced with the cars. There's still some basics with the suspension and brakes and whatnot, but nobody wants to get into that. I mean, for the most part, dealerships will pay a flat rate. So unless you can come up with some fancy ass story of why you had to spend 10 hours trying to figure out why this module is not communicating with, it'll communicate with a couple other modules, but not this other module. Unless you come up with a great story, and even then, you might not get paid for those 10 hours. You might only get paid for 2 hours of diagnosis time. Now you've already spent a full day and a half, and you only got paid for a couple hours of the one day to diagnose this problem. That hurts. You can't survive off of that. The last time I worked flat rate, I mean, I left the company more or less because I took a couple of days off because there was nothing on the schedule. There's no reason for me to drive in there. Oh, if you would have been here, we look at what the work was put out last week. Yeah, everybody had 6 hours, or the days that I was gone, they had 6 hours each day. So you were there for 8 hours a day, 16 hours to 19 hours, 16 to 18 hours. You're there. You turned out 12 hours worth of work. Okay. So you've lost a shit ton of money. Now, if I was there, everybody's averages would have been down to about 4 hours. I would have worked 4 hours and sit around for 4 hours, not getting paid, waiting for cars to come in to get work done. So there's that aspect that kids don't want to get paid that way. I want to get paid an hourly wage. And a lot of shops are going back to an hourly wage, but that begins problems. Oh yeah, Jimothy. There was a freaking. I think it was Babylon B put it out on that. Uh, Babylon B. I could have swore they put something out about Jimothy, and oh, maybe it wasn't them. Nope, there it is. There it is. Okay, so you got the great Jimothy. RFK later caught it and strangled him with his bare hands. The mutation gave him near human intelligence. This was far more like hunting a man than a raccoon. Tasted great. Tasted great. Ah, yes.
Rest in power, Timothy.
He was a good soul.
Oh, funny, funny, funny. Who was I going to bring up? Oh, yeah, speaking of, where was I? I was here. This one's talking about oh, oh, oh. I don't know what I was talking about. I thought I had an into this one. I thought I had a fucking into this. Damn it. Oh, yeah. The Smithsonian director. Um, so, Brandon Gill, we're talking about the Smithsonian Institute.
Racist. Is Mickey Mouse racist?
Mickey Mouse is not racist.
It's not racist. According to the Smithsonian Institution, one of your exhibits referenced Mickey Mouse as representing, quote, vestiges of long-standing traditions of blackface minstrelsy. Would you describe that as racist?
No, the historical trajectory of the origins of Mickey Mouse tied directly
So Mickey Mouse is rooted in racism. Is that your testimony?
No, sir, it's rooted in minstrelly.
Minstrelsy, and you don't think that blackface minstrelsy is racist?
It had certain unobvious racial overtones that have been well documented.
Is Mickey Mouse racist?
Oh, I mean, there was other ones. We could go on and on about those. But they're allowing, they have a book in there from George Takei, played Sulu on Star Trek, great series. Really loved Star Trek a lot. I really liked him. I thought he was a great guy until he came out as gay, and not just, he didn't come out as just being a gay person. He came out as being a fucking flamboyant gay person. And he's got a book in there. And they justify it by saying that because he was he was interned underneath the executive order that Franklin Roosevelt put out to lock up all the Japanese Americans, and so that's why he's in there. That's why. But other works aren't in there. Like, that was part of some of the greatest books of the nation, and the greatest book in the nation, in our nation, has always been the Bible. Always has been. It's the most popular book at the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, through the Civil War, through now. I just seen a thing where it said Sean Ryan is going to be stepping away from some stuff for a while. And I have to say, he's had some great interviews, militarily wise, does a great job for vets and whatnot. Excuse me. We drink milk, whole milk. Him getting more into the politics of everything is, stay the fuck out of it. You don't know shit about it. If anything, you're showing that you're being a paid shill actor at this point in time. You're showing us that we have doubts that you want to be in there doubting the likes of like Tucker and everybody else, but this is just plain fucking lunacy. I just don't see
any positivity coming out of this administration. It seems very self-serving. I have a list of shit printed I could go through, but I mean, what was the last one? He fucking made it so he had Todd Blanche do the dirty work so that him or anybody in his family could never be audited by the IRS. What the fuck is that shit? Mm-hmm. The drone company, the $400 million jet from Qatar.
Yep.
What is it? The Executives Club. You know about that?
Yeah, that they started in D.C.
You don't hear about any of this shit.
Yeah.
Does this shit look like he's serving the fucking people? No. So you're going to serve that?
So, Sean, you weren't saying shit that much about Biden. So why you give a fuck now? $400 million jet given to us by Qatar. Okay. And that's an Air Force One right now being used because the other ones are taking too long to get made. They won't be available for a couple of more years. And the other ones are from the fucking 60s and they're fucking falling apart. Does every administration serve their interests too? Did Clinton's administration help serve the Clinton cause? Did the Bush help the Bushes? Did Obama move policies to more in his favor? Every president has. The Department of Justice works for the executive branch. If the president bugs them enough and says, hey, you need to look into this, they will. In the right way. Not the way that the Biden administration was doing to Trump, but is there self-serving going on inside presidencies? Yes. You bet you fucking ass there is. Especially after the Federal Reserve Act, especially after we had. Definitely, we've had more self-serving people as presidents. Not nearly as bad as congressional people self-serving themselves. And thankfully, we have gotten a vote to limit stock trading by members of Congress. Nancy Pelosi for the last 5-6 years in a row has beaten the S&P 500. There's websites dedicated to tracking what she or her husband are investing in. So that way you can follow their investments. But they get all the insider trading. They know when bills are going to be voted on to, for like tech companies or Department of Defense contracts to credit card bills to healthcare. And they can move the money around beforehand and make it, buy it low, and it's going to go high the next day or within a week or two. It's ridiculous. One of our representatives from Iowa, he said he sold off all little stock that he had before he joined. That's Representative Zach Nunn. He sold off all of his stocks before he became a member of Congress, and he's been championing getting behind this bill to limit it. I know at one point in time it was called the Pelosi Act. We did get some Republicans to side. It went a 232 to 198 vote. So is this going to pass through the Senate and actually get signed? I don't know. Critics argue the legislation falls short of true stock trade ban because it would allow lawmakers keep stocks they already own and continue selling them. Well, that's fine. Just as long as you're not buying new. But, I mean, granted, you could sell early and avoid losing millions of dollars. But think of it this way, though. They've been invested in that company for a year or two longer. And they get word that, shit's going south. It's going to go south here real shortly. So you dump all your stock before it crashes. You get that money out of it. Capital gains tax hits that. So now you will lose some of that money back to the federal government. So, I mean, that's what you get for trying to take it out early, but it avoids losing millions in the long run. I mean, if you sold out, it made $4 million off of your trade. You pay $1 million to the government for taxes. You keep $3 million. Okay. Or versus you don't sell that. If the stock drops and you lose $3.5 million, sell out, you made $500,000. You could have made $3 million. So it's a step in the right direction. We've got to have something in there that stops these people from becoming ultra wealthy while serving the people. $175,000 a year salary. You should not be living in a multi-million-dollar home or homes, plural. Your housing that you live in DC is paid for by taxpayers. Don't tell me that it's so hard that my job, that I can't survive off $175,000 a year. Okay, take your taxes out of that, still over $100,000 you're putting in your checkbook every year. And you're not paying for your housing, at least not in the DC area. That's part of your stipend. You're to run your office comes out of that money. Your vehicle allowance from Congress that Congress gets, they have that. So they bank all this money and bitch and complain that they're not making enough money and put the raises in these bills that are buried in 10,000 pages that you have 5 minutes to fucking read. The bill does not extend to the president and vice president, which I think it should. I get it. Trump's making money off stock market too. He's making trades. I get it. Maybe this insider trading act should go to involve if you are a public official. I mean, you could just say if you're an elected official, you can't hold stock. I mean, that's gonna. I mean, you still got millions of people that are going to be involved with that because they're employees of the state or the federal government. So they're still workers of the public. But I think if you put it down to every elected official, that would include judges, that would include sheriffs, that would include governors, representatives, senators at the state level, federal level, Supreme Court justices. Oh, they're not elected though; they're just appointed. Huh. Well, maybe some of the judges wouldn't be just the elected judges. Whichever way you want to do those. Um, there was other things I was going to talk about. Pocket software. There was nothing on here. Yeah, that's kind of more fitting. Is McConnell dead? Does anybody know if McConnell's fucking dead? I don't know. Oh my. That's a good one. What did this idiot have to say here?
If you go back to some of the Democrats that we most admire, FDR, LaGuardia, you will see a lot of democratic socialist principles in their vision.
Yes.
And if you think about a lot of what we've come to accept as just the facts of life across our country, a lot of it is also still driven by democratic socialist principles. Now, if today you and I were to introduce the idea of a building that lends out books for free, we would be slandered in the same way that so many new ideas are slandered today, and yet that's the library. And the same thing with the fire department, the same thing with public schools. And it's to say that a lot of politics has been a debate about who deserves what, and I would prefer a politics that debates how we can deliver that.
Yeah. So again, we had fire departments, and police departments before. We had taxes, libraries. I mean, Library of Congress. I mean, well, I know the University of Virginia started by Thomas Jefferson. It contains all of his books. That was the start of their library. Carnegie's built a shit ton of freaking libraries everywhere. Just gave them to the cities to run. So it's still not taxed. The buildings weren't taxed. The Library of Alexandria, almost 2,500 years ago. FDR brought in a lot of socialism, and he was very much in favor of that. He was a smart man that knew that really wanted to cling to power. Obviously, he died in office into his fourth term, longest serving president ever. And of course, made sure we changed the law while he was there that nobody else could do the same shit. So, but yeah, socialism is a fucking disease. It's a bad fucking disease. Yeah, oil prices, unfortunately, this last week have gone up a shit ton. Gasoline's way up. We need to end this shit fast. I mean, these numbers aren't. They're trying to include these numbers now into inflationary numbers. Before, when back here when Biden was in, and our prices were sky high then, releasing our strategic oil reserves down to its lowest point ever. That 9% inflation, that didn't include gas, diesel prices. So that inflationary was, more or less like 19 to 20%. Now they want to say that it's high because of the gas prices. Now we'll turn it around and say the gas prices are causing inflation. You're right, it is. The supply and demand thing. But not here. This is another made up thing. We here in the United States don't need to worry about the crude oil prices. We've got enough oil. We produce enough oil on a daily basis to supply our nation on a daily basis and add some to the reserves. We don't rely on the world market. That's why there is two different prices. Why you have crude oil and then Brent crude. Crude oil is the WTI, which is out of Texas. But that's still too high for even that because, again, what's going on across the world, halfway across the world, does not affect what's going on here in the United States. We are self-sufficient. We don't need oil from anywhere else. We got one of the largest oil reserves sitting up in there in Alaska. We don't, what goes on there should not ever affect our prices. It should never affect our supply and demand. Our supply is still the same. Our demand is still the same. But yet the prices don't reflect that at all. That is a problem being attached to a world market. Now, we can't excel because we're tied into the world market. We're hindered because every other country is hindered at the same time. Commerce, I understand what a lot of the pros and cons, the cons of whatever, your pros for socialism and communism. I get it. I get where you say capitalism is evil. People can get rich. But everybody at least has a chance to get rich. Yeah, well, it's generational wealth. Well, that's great. You know, Donald Trump's dad started something. He continued it. He's leaving it on to his sons. And that's going to create generational wealth. You have that. But somebody, somewhere along the line, somebody dug their heels in and created something to become rich. There could be a kid born right now that in, we'll say 16 years from now, digs his heels in, makes something that makes him ultra rich. Should he be punished for that? No. But in a communist setting, you're not going to have goals. Everybody's treated equal. Everybody is equal, except for the people that own everything. Because you're broke. You won't have money in a communist country. So, and we're going to go out again with another laugh. Everybody's heard about the Blue Angels, made that little flyover and blew the tents up. And oh my God, look at what they did. That was too dangerous and blah, 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 blah. Like the Black Hawk helicopters flying here on whatever day that was. Come on. We played this the last time. These jets flying real slow. Oh, we're going to conduct a review of jets that fly over Florida beach goers. What are you conducting the review for? To find out why 10,000 men showed up at the Pensacola General Hospital seeking treatment for an erection lasting more than 4 hours? If you bust me with an F-18 Hornet 25 feet off my head, I'm going to need treatment. You goddamn right. It only takes one. All those beachgoers out there in Pensacola know that's what happens down there. It's a great Air Force base. Great base. I didn't even get to the one that I was going to get to either. God damn. I'll have to save that one. Yeah, that one. I'll talk about that one later. So, fucking no one thing. Yeah. Fucking socialism, socialism, socialism. Without socialism, you won't have a fire department. You wouldn't have roads. Stay the fuck off my roads. My fucking gas tax that I put gas in my vehicle is supposed to pay for those roads. And guess what? They're shit because my gas tax doesn't go to the fucking roads. Fuck your socialism. It doesn't fucking work. Our tax money doesn't even go where it's fucking supposed to be going to. And you want to tax us more? You want the government to be in charge of more shit? Fuck you. You can't even take care of the fucking veterans, let alone take care of the rest of us. That's my rant for the day. We'll see you probably at least on Saturday, maybe tomorrow. Watch me. I will be popping in and out playing some Minecraft. Usually been trying for around 2 o'clock or so in the afternoon. We play for a couple of hours. I'll be on Twitch stream with that, Rumble and YouTube. Join me. We can chit chat there too. Other than that, I mean, what else we got? Are we coming to an end here? Every day is a new day. Every day is we're one step closer to the end. I think we're safe for a couple of years. After that, I'm an optimistic person and I'm losing optimism. So, but I hate to leave you guys on a bad note. Just think of those jets flying over top of you. Wow, they're amazing. Wow, they're amazing. So anyway, we will end it here. We'll say God bless you all. Again, catch me. I'm here Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, 2 or 7 p.m. Central Time. And let's chat. Let's talk about all this crazy, wacky shit that's going on. Like the Tate's getting locked up and all this crap that's going on. Oh my God, that's true. That's true. That would fucking work. That would definitely fucking work. All right, guys. All right. God bless you all. See you Saturday, 7 o'clock.